What's up, guys? So today's weekly outlook, I want to focus on just a couple of crypto coins, but what I do want to go over is gold. Um, Interestingly enough, gold has been on a rampage, right? I've kind of been studying it back and forth. Obviously, I don't trade it as much, but what I do like to do is just study different things, commodities, even indexes. Sometimes I can look at forex pairs, right? But um, gold is something that I might entertain a little bit more next year or the end of the year. Now, whenever we see a huge range like this, especially when you're looking, let's just look at this from the weekly standpoint. A weekly range like this, whenever you see a breakout, it's going to be massive, right? Um, and again, my main focus is mainly on crypto, so I wasn't really looking for opportunities here, but I did see this and I was like, okay, if this breaks out, it's going to be a pretty big breakout. In hindsight, looking back at it, I could have easily traded this and made a ton of money off of this one trade. But again, I can't focus on a million things at once, right? So just looking at this and studying the chart, um, again, huge consolidation, massive breakout, right? So I think, I mean, it's possible. I wouldn't be surprised if we get another consolidation before another breakout. I think we can easily head to 44 and even 5,000 at some point. The way things are moving, I would not be surprised. Basic market structure says we can come back and retest this, but I don't know. I don't really see us doing that. Just studying the past history, possible, but we'll see. If we do end up coming back here and retesting this, I would say go heavy on longs here. It'd be crazy to miss this opportunity, but I have an alert here for that reason. If we do get that for whatever reason, but I think the next move is going to be a consolidation here, something like that, and then another breakout. So we'll play it by ear and see what happens there. But that's just gold. That was just like an extra credit situation. Indexes, let's see what we're doing. Indexes. I haven't even looked at indexes in the past few days. So NAS 100. Okay, so we came up here. Um, 12 hour. Let's look at daily. Okay, so daily's closing like this. I don't know. I still think we're gonna see another run up. I don't. Let's look at the 1 hour. Okay, so we're slowly breaking down. I would say this. Let's see. Yeah, I mean we haven't even. We'll see. I would say if we come down here and we start breaking below, this could mean that it's hunting to go lower. Okay. So this is basically a supply and demand flip or a breaker block, right? So we want to see this level hold coming into here and then going higher. But if we do break down again and we get a close below anywhere between the 4 and 12 hour, that's when you could potentially hunt for shorts. But I'm not really touching this, okay? To be honest, I'm leaving this alone. Not really interested in indexes until the SFKI gets to the 90 or 20 level. So we're not there yet. So I don't really see a massive rollover. But once we get to that 90 zone, we could be hunting for a pretty good short. Or we could be looking at the SK20. Once we get there, we'd be looking for long-term buys. Bitcoin, we look at Bitcoin. So massive push up. To be honest, I don't really care about Bitcoin right now from a short-term perspective. I'm gonna let it do what it wants to do, whatever this is. I think this is a retracement to head back lower one more time, which is fine. Cool. Okay, I think we are gonna come down into this level here. Once we get down here, I think this is when we justify when we're gonna go in back for longs, which I think is going to happen. Okay, but really, what I want to track is ETH. Let me clean this up. So ETH, let's go from the weekly so you can see what I'm looking at. ETH came into this area. We've been calling for this area for a while. You can see we're finally pushing up, right? I gave this to you guys over the weekend, and I gave you those longs. So closing the longs, as of today, I want to see us come into this key level here. Okay, this is a weekly supply zone. Okay, and that level is right around 42.80. So let's go ahead and put that. Perfect. Okay, so I want to see us come into the zone. Now, obviously, we could trace deeper into this, right? But I really don't want to see that. If we pull the fib going from here to here, okay, that's right around the 50%. And again, we can come up to the 62 or even the 70, right? And that's all the way to 44.40. I don't really think we're going to go that deep, but anything is possible, right? So really what I'm looking for is start looking for shorts in this area and then bringing it down into 3600 and possibly 3320. Okay, going with the flow of the trend, draw a trend line here actually. Again, I'm just using this to show you the sequences of lower highs, right? Because that's really what we're forming here. Okay, so expect the next lower high to be formed here to bring us back down. Okay, interestingly enough, from a retail perspective, we could be forming some sort of flag here. Okay, so this does make sense as well, right? Smart money concept, you know, we're looking at this as supply and demand and then coming into here to basically hit the next leg lower. But really, how I trade is just looking at the range, right? We had if we look at this, a daily, actually let's look at this from, weekly's fine. Weekly close below these wicks, right? So this is the lower low, right? Lower high, new lower low. Even though we wicked up here, we didn't close above. If we close above here on a weekly, then I would maybe think we're going to continue higher. But because the weekly is showing this close below, now we're looking for is that retracement. Okay, so I'll be looking for that into London or tomorrow. And then XRP, same thing. So my focus is really going to be XRP and Ethereum, right? So weekly, right? Basically, it's consolidation. We're pushing lower, pushing lower. That's what this line is just showing us, right? Lower lows, lower highs, right? So the next area of interest is really here, okay? You can see supply is holding. Forms a new area of supply, rejects. Forms a new area of supply, rejects. So again, same thing. New area of supply, and I expect this to come down into anywhere between 2.5 and 2.4. So $2.50, $2.40 for XRP, and then we'll be hunting once we come into this. We'll be hunting for longs up into this area. Maybe potentially taking out this high, but really just coming back into this key area here. From here, this is where I'll be kind of just chilling to see what the market wants to do from here, because if we break here, this is fully equipped for altcoin season, but we may come here and play around and consolidate before going higher until this December. So game plan is pretty clear. I think all of this is pretty high probability, especially because we left these lows. A long isn't really justified until we get rid of this liquidity here. So to me, this is a pretty simple and easy short here. These are the type of shorts or trades that I go pretty decently aggressive on when we see these type of sequences. So again, looking for these trades tomorrow, looking at XRP and Ethereum, not bothering with Bitcoin or indexes, just studying it and back testing it throughout the week. if anything comes up, I will let you guys know. From a news standpoint, there really isn't anything special, I don't think. Let me pull up. Let's pull up. So tomorrow, nothing major, right? September 30th. Okay, so Jolt's job opening, and then October, which is good. Um, ADP, and then we have PMI, which is actually really good, and I like that because it's the 1st of October. So let's go back. The reason why I like that is because if we look at it from a monthly perspective, let's look at Ethereum, for example. Okay, so what that means is, let's say we just hesitate in this area for the next day or so. Okay, the next monthly candle is going to open something like this, right? And that means we can print up, creating a third wick. We have 1, 2, 3, right? So creating a third wick, something like that, to then pushing down, right? Taking out this monthly low here at 3,600, which would make a lot of sense before then pushing back up, and maybe even coming to fill this. That's a possibility, but really taking out this monthly low before going much higher. Okay, so all the signs make a lot of sense. As you can see how I put the story together to look at these trades and come up with high probability, right? So again, if you have questions, let me know. I'll be analyzing everything throughout the week, but really again, looking at Ethereum and XRP.